Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Samantha. I'm an intuitive. I am a vessel for spirit. I'm a medium. And this is going to be a video about an experience I had when I was 17 years old. I am 26 now. So this was a bit of time ago, but it was an experience that of being saved. I was definitely, this was the beginning of my spiritual awakening and my spiritual, I believe our whole lives are a spiritual journey at like in the grand scheme of things, but this was the beginning of me recognizing that I am a spiritual being and recognizing that really seeking God. Let's put it that way. During this time, um, so I was 17 years old, and long story short, for a lot of my life before this experience, um, I was extremely depressed. I was diagnosed as bipolar. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I was diagnosed with a bunch of different things. I was in and out of hospitals for suicidal attempts, trigger warning, for self harm. I was on a very destructive path. I was making a lot of reckless decisions. I was driving while under the influence. I was doing drugs. I was doing pills. I was misusing my medication. I was prescribed uh, like Adderall for my ADHD, and I was misusing that. I was selling it. I was, taking other types of pills with my other medications that I was prescribed for the bipolar disorder. I was prescribed. So this is a quick note. This is important for this experience that I'm about to touch on, but this part of it is important so you can understand my a very broad view of my story before this experience, before I was saved. Um, so I was mentally ill. I was doing drugs. I was drinking. I was not going to school. I was not going home for days at a time. I was hanging out with the wrong people. Um, and not to blame them because I was right there with them. I wanted to be doing all of that. Um, and I was living very recklessly. And so I was prescribed an anti seizure medication for the bipolar disorder. It was for, psychiatrists use like a lot of different medications to try and um, assist different mental illnesses. And so they prescribed me an anti seizure medication as a mood stabilizer, I believe. Um, and so this was a medication. I was on that. I was on Adderall for the ADHD. And then on top of that, I was drinking and I was taking other pills as like while I was partying, and I was also smoking weed. So I was doing all of that at this time, which is not funny at all. It was reckless. So that's a little bit of the backstory. That doesn't even touch the surface, honestly. But that's just like the backstory to this experience that I had, and being saved. And so this is an experience I had that I died. Um, it wasn't an experience of, there was no physical proof that I died. I just know where I went, and I know what happened to me. I'm speaking from my personal experience, and I know what I experienced. So that's just what I'm telling you. And I've watched a lot of other people talk about their experiences, and it's it's validated mine, if that makes sense. Like it really, helped me when I watched other people who had a similar experience touch on theirs, and it makes me feel like, wow, like that really was that, like, and this experience is what led me to my first real awakening at the age of 18. This experience was the beginning of me wanting different for myself and seeing a different life for myself and wanting better for myself. So back to the story. So one night I was with my friends, my best friend at the time. She was like my partner in crime, basically. We would go everywhere together. She, we did everything together. And so we were with her boyfriend at the time and his friend, in his friend's basement. So it was one night we were just, I took my pills that day. I took my Adderall and I took the anti-seizure medication for the bipolar disorder. I would take it every day. And for Adderall, I was on, I think, 40 milligrams at the time, which is a lot for anybody who's familiar with Adderall. That's a lot for, I was on it for a long time. I was on it for a few years, so that's why my dose was so high. So I was on that, and then I was on, I'd say like I wouldn't say a high dose of the other medication, but I was on it for at least, I want to say like 6 months. This was a while ago, so like these kind of details I don't necessarily remember, but I remember the experience and like what happened and everything. I never forgot that, obviously, and how the night played out. So we're at my friend's boyfriend's friend's house, and we're doing the usual. We were drinking Jack Honey. We were smoking. And I, again, had already taken my medication for the day. And so all I remember is we were just sitting there, we were laughing. I took a hit of a bong, and I was smoking, like we were passing a blunt around too. But I just remember taking a hit of the bong. I don't know how many shots I had, but out of nowhere, I was just playing with my hair, and out of nowhere, I couldn't stop playing with my hair, and all of a sudden I started just going like this. I knew I was doing it, but I couldn't stop. And I just remember my thoughts being uncontrollable, and I felt like I had no control over anything. I had no control over my body. I had no control over my thoughts. They were just racing and racing and racing. And I just know that I was just doing this and I just could not stop. I was just messing with my hair. And my friends, I could hear them laughing, not knowing what was going on. And it's understandable. It's like, I mean, we were young and they didn't understand. But at the same time, it's like, if it was the other way around, I probably would have been a lot more concerned if my friend was suddenly unresponsive and doing something like that. But anyway, these people are no longer a part of my life. So all I remember is it started off, I believe, I don't know. I've never had a seizure. So I don't know if this was technically a seizure. I just know that I had absolutely no control over my movements, and I had no control over my thoughts. And out of nowhere, I don't know how long I was doing it for, maybe like a minute. And then out of nowhere, I just like gasped for air. I was like, like I just came back. And I was like, I don't know what just happened. Like, and so the next thing I knew, I was just breathing, and I was like, I don't know what the heck just happened. What the heck was that? Like, I was confused. Next thing I knew, my friend laid me down on the couch. They just told me to lay down. So I just laid down, and I closed my eyes, and the next thing I knew, I was all I could remember is it was like I was just my thoughts. It was like I was just, I had no body. I didn't know my name. I didn't know who I was, where I was. It was just darkness at first. And I just remember like it was just constant thoughts, and it was just where am I, who am I, like why am I here, why am I here, like what is going on, what is going on. It was just constant like that, and that's all there was. It was just thoughts. um and all of a sudden, like the way the TV, like the static of the TV when it's like the static, the black and gray, it was like that, and it was just like this. I just remember it being like this constant. It was like it felt like I just remember feeling like, when is this going to stop? When is this going to stop? That's all I kept saying to myself, and it was like, but like I wasn't myself. I was just my thoughts. um Looking back on this now and hearing other people's stories, I do believe that this was hell. If I do not have all the answers, I don't really truly believe any of us do, um, until we experience it, like actually on the other side. I don't want to say this was hell. I just want, I honestly, this is my opinion. So again, I'm not saying this is fact, but from what I experienced looking back on it now, and again hearing other people's experiences, I do believe that hell is accustomed to us and our deepest fears and our deepest hurts, and our own form, what would torment us. Because when you think about it, different things aren't necessarily going to affect everybody the same. And I believe that this was an experience to show me how bad it can be. Because in my waking life, I was tormented by my thoughts. I was diagnosed as mentally ill, and I can honestly say I was mentally ill for that time being. I am not now, because I am saved, and I'm not saying that mental illness is something that is curable for everybody. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that in my experience, I was cured of it, because of my faith and because of my dedication and my commitment to my spiritual journey, and to facing my fears. So anyway, so yeah, it was like static, and it was like, I felt like forever. It honestly felt like forever. It felt like so long. And I just remember getting to a point that it was just static and just my thoughts saying, where am I? What is going on? How long is this going to take? Like, when is this going to stop? It got to a point that I couldn't take it anymore. I just remember it was like nails on a chalkboard. It got to that point where it was like nails on a chalkboard, and I was like, I can't take it anymore. Like, I can't take this. That's what it got to. And at that exact moment, when it became too much to bear, boom, I remember going through some sort of, it almost was like a tunnel from what I remember. And all of a sudden I just remember gold light. I was just there. But like, I still had those thoughts of those fears. I was still like, where am I? What is going on? And I like asked myself, what is my name? I didn't know my name. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know anything. I was so confused. And I just remember I was in this gold light. And I just remember there was to like my right, I just remember somebody, or an angel, God, somebody was talking to me, and was trying to talk to me. And I really wish I could remember what they were saying. Um, I was not meant to for some reason, but throughout my life after that experience, I have had moments of looking back to that and having clarity on certain things of what that experience was about. So I'll get more into that then. But in the moment, I didn't know who was talking to me. I just knew that I was in a gold light, and that I had no body. I didn't know my name. I had no recollection of this experience of me being in this body and in this lifetime. I had no memory of it. Um, and I believe it was God who was talking to me. Um, and then I believe that I know I was shown things during that time, even though I can't remember exactly what I was shown. But I just know I was shown because it's like I was in this gold light. I was fearful. I was confused, and then all of a sudden, I was just taken somewhere that I don't remember. And I believe I was shown my future. I believe I was shown my purpose and my mission here, and I believe I was shown where I was going and why I it wasn't my time. Because at that time I was very self-destructive and I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to live anymore. And God had to show me why I was here and remind me of my purpose and my mission here, and remind me of all of the great things that are going to be coming my way if I just suck it up and keep going. And so this is a lot. I actually have never really told anybody this story except a couple people, and obviously the people who were there. My best friend at the time, I told her about it. I don't really think it processed with her, but only a couple people really know that I had this experience. But um, so next thing I remember is all of a sudden I remember who I feel like it was one of my guides or one of my angels who was showing me these things and showing me what was coming for me and showing me why I was here. And then they were like, you have to go back now. We're sending you back now. And I didn't want to come back. I know that. I know that I didn't want to come back. Um, because of just it was home there. It was home wherever I was. And um, obviously I had to come back. And so next thing I knew, it was like a movie. It's like they showed me bit by bit from when I was a baby. It was like a movie clip of like showing me little memories up until I was back in my body. So it was like they showed me when I was little to like different things just all of a sudden adding up, adding up. Next thing I knew, I was hearing laughing, and it was my friends that I was with that night. I was hearing laughing, but I didn't know who was laughing. And I still didn't know who I was. So I was back in my body, and I didn't open my eyes yet, but I could hear laughing, and I can hear my friends talking, and I was like, who is that talking? And I was like, who am I? And all of a sudden, boom, it was like a snap of a finger. I opened my eyes, and I was like, oh, wow. And I was like, all of a sudden, I was back, and I knew I wasn't there before that moment. I knew I went somewhere else, and I was like, what the heck just happened? I was like, and literally, I sat up. I was really confused. I sat up. The second I sat up, I had to throw up. So I ran to the bathroom. And when I ran to the bathroom, when I tell you I was projectile vomiting, I was projectile vomiting. Like I was releasing everything that I had or that I had taken that day. I was throwing up everything. I was releasing crazy. And I remember as I was throwing up, my friends were outside waiting for me. And I just remember as I was throwing up, I felt just this very strong presence, this very strong knowing that something just happened, that I just had some sort of experience, that I just witnessed something that was life-changing. And on the way home, I actually didn't know this until the next day, but on the way home, like I honestly didn't remember the rest of that night for the most part. I was still kind of coming back, I feel. My friend told me that I was singing in the car and that I was singing something. She didn't really know what I was trying to sing, that she was trying not to laugh. but I was singing. And anybody who knows me knows that I fear singing in front of people. Like, that's not like me. And don't, I was not like that drunk to the point that, um, like, I'd thrown everything up. I was, I've been more drunk than I was that night. And I always have it together. Like, I just know myself. And I know that I was singing gospel music. Like, I was singing. And I've heard other people and their experiences that they did the same thing. It's like when they came back, they were just singing. Um, but I know I was singing like gospel music I never, because I actually started remembering a little bit more in the following days. And I remembered I was singing and I couldn't remember the song I was singing. It was a song I didn't know. Um, and so when my friend told me that, I was like, wow, I knew I was singing. Like, I knew it. So she just kind of validated that for me. But the following days after that, I told my friend, I told her mom, I was telling a few people, I was like, yeah, no, like, I know I went somewhere. I know I experienced hell and I experienced heaven. And I was shown, I know that I had an experience. At the time, I really didn't know what I believed. I didn't really know where I was going after this. I really didn't know what I was doing here, and why I was so just destructive. I didn't understand. I didn't know God like I do now. But after that experience, even though I don't remember what exactly I was shown about this life, or what exactly my mission was, or um, what all happened, what I know for sure is that that experience triggered something in my soul, even though I wasn't physically necessarily aware of it, because after that point, I was still being reckless. And I've had a lot of times where I was saved, or where I've had a lot of wake up calls. So this was definitely not the first wake up call I had, but this was the first wake up call I had that I was actually spiritually shown what is possible, where I could end up if I don't straighten up, and where, you know, I was shown both sides of it. Um, so after that experience, I stopped smoking. I remember there was a time I smoked like one more time, and I was just not caring. I smoked way too much, and I actually had like a panic attack. It was the first time I ever had a panic attack, and I remember I was reminded of this experience, and I was like, all right, I can't smoke anymore. So after that, I really stopped smoking. I was still drinking, I was still partying, but that whole year of me, like when I was 17, that whole year um, was definitely preparation for when I turned 18. Because when I turned 18, I had a tower moment. I'm not going to go into detail about that now. If you're interested in hearing more about my testimony and my story, let me know. But I'm not going to dive into that now. But I had a tower moment, and it was the first time in my life that I really felt completely abandoned. Completely abandoned. I felt that I was really on my own. I really didn't. I felt probably the lowest, even with being suicidal and before and all of that. Um, I actually felt completely abandoned and completely alone. But from that, I started. It's like a fight was within me that came up, that really wanted to fight, that really wanted to do better, that knew there was more. And from rock bottom, I really I started asking questions like, why? It's such a simple question. Like, why don't I believe? Why am I doing this to myself? Like, why am I doing these things to myself? Why have I been so angry? Really, truly getting to the bottom of why I was treating myself the way I was, and why I was choosing such a destructive path for myself. And it started from, so that experience, this experience that I'm telling you, was the beginning and was the focal point of me waking up in the physical, and having my first spiritual awakening at the age of 18 after a huge tower moment, and after feeling abandoned and not knowing where to turn. God is all I had. At that point, I started running every day. I went to the psychiatrist and got weaned off of all of my medications. I was just like, I can't function on these medications anymore. They're not serving me anymore. I stayed on the Adderall for about a year longer, but then I decided to get off that as well. But I weaned off of all of my medications, and I just started taking better care of myself. And from that point forward, I've definitely had more wake up calls because I have taken more detours, but it was never as bad as it was. And I had the awareness of God now. And even though we have the awareness of God, even though we believe in God, we are still, in the beginning of our like spiritual awareness, spiritual awakenings. We still tend to fall, and we still tend to make mistakes and struggle to treat ourselves the right way and treat ourselves with love. And so that is very normal in a lot of people's spiritual journeys. So don't feel guilty for not getting it right, right away. I'm again 26 now. This happened when I was 17. And since then, I've had so many wake up calls, so many, tumultuous relationships and friendships, things coming to a head. It was not easy after that point. When you awaken, it doesn't mean that the hardships go away. It just means that you have the awareness of your spiritual backbone. You have that awareness of God. You have that awareness of your spirit guides, your angels, your God, your ancestors. You have this awareness that that they're there. You may not understand completely what their job is, or like when they're there, or like how to know if they're there. But just knowing that they're there is the beginning. And if that's where you are at, just know that your commitment and your dedication and your prayers, your tears, your commitment and your dedication to the journey, it's like you're gonna understand more. It's going to unfold for you, but it's important to trust the timing of when things unfold, because you have to be ready. So you have to go through certain things in order to be ready. And it's these moments in time that trigger us into asking certain questions, or into seeking certain answers to certain questions. So just trust your journey, and trust that you will be shown what you need to be shown when you need to be shown it. So be patient with yourself and know that you have a purpose here. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. This journey is not meant to be easy. And when you are on a spiritual journey and you have the spiritual awareness, it is not just about crystals. It is not just about tarot cards. It is not just about the Bible. It's not just about going to church. Whatever it is that you do to as a part of your spirituality and your spiritual beliefs, it's about knowing that you are a child of God, and being so sure in that, and just knowing, like, I know I am backed up by spirit. I have supernatural forces backing me up. And I know that no matter what happens, no matter what lessons I have to learn, that I will always be caught now that I am a believer, that I believe in myself, that I believe that I am a child of God, and that I believe that I have a place in heaven. I know I'm going to heaven. Like, I know I have a place with God. That is where I feel I was really, if you are not sure about like where you are going, if you are not sure about yourself and what you deserve, and that's when you can be manipulated. That's when you can be taken advantage of. So I feel I was shown my own personal hell, or if it's hell for everybody, I don't know. I just know that I was shown with the static and the thoughts. I was shown my hell in this physical world that I was dealing with in this physical world of racing thoughts and negative thoughts and just feeling stuck. I was shown that to another degree of how bad it can actually be. And I was shown that to show me that it's not as bad as it can be, and that it can get better. So that's why I feel I was shown that in this experience. I want to call this, I guess, a near death experience. Or just an experience of the other side. And I know mine is not as in full detail as others. I feel that was, again, for a reason, because of my own personal journey. So I feel everybody, everything is specific to everybody else's journey. And I'm not going to say that my experience is the same as everybody's. And I'm not going to say that my experience is the whole truth, is the whole facts. Because, I mean, I'm not going to act like I'm, the Omega himself. I'm not. I'm just a vessel for God. I'm a child of God. I am not God. So only God has those answers. And I'm honored to be able to share whatever he allows me, whatever he has shown me about our spiritual selves and our spiritual journeys, and whatever answers he has given me to share with you guys. I'm blessed and I'm honored to be that vessel, to be a vessel, because there are so many of us. And I'm really... I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful that that's a part of my purpose, and that I have this connection to the divine, and that I have this dialogue with the divine in my everyday life. And so all of these experiences that I've had, all of these wake-up calls have been a part of this journey for me. And I believe I was going through spiritual warfare at that time. I was fighting for my soul at that time, and I won. So this is a testimony of my beginning to my awareness and my coming to God, and my knowing that I am a child of God and that God loves me. And so I hope that this helps somebody along their journey, and I hope that you start to ask more questions, and that you understand that you are a child of God too, and that religion doesn't matter. Religion is a form of worship. It's rituals, which we all have our own rituals, every day, of all of our routines, our rituals. We make coffee every morning at the same time. That's a ritual. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's God that matters. It's source. It's the divine that matters. And our connection to the divine and knowing that we're a part of it is what matters. And, knowing that we can distribute love and distribute what we know to be true into this world, and make it, bring more people to that awareness. So again, I'm so grateful to be able to share this experience with you guys. And let me know in the comments if you've had an experience like this, or any other experience, just your own personal experiences on your spiritual journey. I'd love to hear. I'll leave my info for personal readings in the description box. And make sure you like, share, subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.